Bleach Soul Resonance is a brand new gacha game that I honestly didn't give enough credit for when it was first announced. I did a dedicated video on it a little while ago saying it was going to be a bad game, and I am man enough to admit when I am wrong. I was wrong. I did not anticipate having any fun in this game at all. I thought that this game was going to be a cheap cash grab. On the contrary, okay, wait, no, this is done by Crunchyroll, or at very least published by Crunchyroll in several regions around the world, so it might be a cash grab ultimately, but it is a freaking fun cash grab that is also free-to-play friendly, has great combat, great character models, and so much more. I actually had such little faith for this game that when the devs came and offered me thousands of dollars to do a sponsored video promoting the game, I looked at it and I was like, another gacha game based on an already existing anime intellectual property. That is a recipe for success if I've ever seen it. Yeah, buddy. So I turned it down. I was like, nah, I cannot in good conscience try to sell a game to my community when I don't think it's going to be very good. And then I played it today. I played several hours of it today. And as part of this series that I do on the channel, I want to take a moment here to walk you through what the game is, give you my thoughts on it, and then give you a review ultimately at the end. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I think one of the best parts about this game is the fact that you can run around the town, the cities, the different areas that populate the Bleach anime as any character you want. And ultimately, one thing I do find disappointing about this game, like, because this game isn't perfect, it's far from perfect, but the character models do not have any jiggle physics, which means that upon immediate stopping or starting or abrupt movement, they kind of just, they are like one singular mass. And that's kind of upsetting, because I like the anime of Bleach was very, very ecchi. Like, there were a lot of very nicely shaped women, and beyond the women themselves, there were a lot of moments in there, like when Yoruichi and Ichigo were in Soul Society and they shared the bath together and she got up, and you know, there were definitely some suggestive moments in the anime, and it's a shame that isn't really like replicated necessarily in this. The bulk of the story takes place in chapters. This is a chapter-based, mission-based gacha. I've cleared currently chapter 1, chapter 2. I cleared all of the hard mode for chapter 1. There is extreme mode as well. It looks like up until chapter 8, you go through, here's the Ichigo versus Byakuya Kuchiki fight, which means that's when he ultimately saves you-know-who from the Sogyoku. And that ends the initial Soul Society arc. There are supply missions where you go to grind materials to upgrade your characters, character XP, con weapon XP, and skill materials. There are ascension materials as well for various different characters. There is the trial mode. There is a challenge mode, but I need to be player level 16 for that. I haven't unlocked that yet. And then there is the training mode, which teaches you the basics of the game. Surprisingly, there aren't that many features present. You have the character window, and of all the captains and vice captains I could have gotten, I happened to get freaking Kaname Tosin. Yeah, the blind guy. And then we have Ichigo. We have Nimu Kuruchi. We have Renji Abarai. We have Uryu, Orihime. I did get Yachiru, Chad, and Ururu. So a lot of these characters, the main core cast of characters you get just by playing through the game. Each character comes with their own weapon. I did not have to pull for the weapon, which was actually interesting. He came with his own SSR weapon. The SR characters come with their own SR version of their weapons, which is really cool. You can, however, equip these. They're stamps, and they function like artifacts, like echoes. You can enhance your weapon. You can enhance the stamps. These are these utilize duplicates of each respective stamp. They come in various different rarities as well. There are skills. You find the materials necessary to upgrade skills in the supplies area. As you can see, the SSR characters look like they have 3 abilities over on the right, whereas the SR characters only have 2. There is the boundary function. This is actually pretty significant. Her level 1 boundary ascension increase all damage dealt by 25% and increases her base attack by a further 20%. That is insane. Her level 4 increases the damage dealt by special attacks, her enhanced barrage and enhanced sweeping kick by 50%. That is unbelievably significant. And then it scales and gets more and more obscenely overpowered. So it's a necessity that you need to pull for them. Dupes are not something minor, they are significant. You'll see there is your typical 350% limited time discount, get it while you can, hot deal bullshit like all gacha games seem to have. Everything else is about what you'd expect from a gacha game cash shop. The gacha itself is surprisingly good. You get the limited SSR character guaranteed within 80 pulls. That means there's no 50-50 whatsoever. Once you hit 80, you get the character, unless you get the character before 80. The rates for the character are actually surprisingly decent, 0.8%, and then with the drop rate guarantee included, 1.8%. That's honestly, that's not bad at all. Unfortunately, one issue I do have with the game is that there are variants of characters. So there's like, you know, Ichigo Shikai, Ichigo Bankai, Ichigo probably like holified form and everything. There's like gonna be, you know, several dozen variants of characters, and I actually hated that about Devil May Cry Peak of Combat. I'd rather there just be like one character and you gear them with like their Shikai or their Bankai. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. There's a beginner banner where after 50 pulls, you're guaranteed a random SSR character. Unfortunately, I got Kaname Tosen. The banner comes with a 20% discount, so it only costs 8 pulls rather than 10. You also get another permanent SSR character after hitting what seems to be 300. You can choose any character here. We have Sajin Komamura, we have Kaname Tosen, we have Kisuke Urahara, we have Yoruichi Shihoin, we have Ikaku Madarame, and Byakuyo Kuchiki. I would naturally go for Yoruichi because she's a fucking babe, and she was one of the characters that I absolutely fell in love with in the anime. Much like the limited banner, the standard banner has a guaranteed SSR at 80. Same applies to this banner. The difference is, however, you can actually choose a character. I chose Yoruichi because naturally. Then there is the permanent stamp banner, which guarantees you an SSR stamp within 40 pulls. That's honestly pretty decent. There's a crafting system if you want to attempt higher quality materials. Same thing applies to stamps. There are a number of events going on right now that I think are very important. There is the Seirete check-in, which nets you with Yachiru upon your day 2. You get a bunch of free pulls over the course of a 14-day period. There is the rookie training where over a period of 7 days you get given lots of upgrade materials. It seems like you get 5 standard pulls and then a 10 here and then a 10 here as well as you continue to complete each respective day. There is the Battlefront recruit, which essentially gives you with 5 pulls for every chapter you complete. It gives you with 5 pulls for every hard chapter you complete, and then it gives you with 5 pulls for every extreme chapter you complete, which is awesome. There's a lot of free pulls. There are the rewards for trials. There are rewards for the special training operation. I've cleared quite a significant amount actually over just like 1.5 day of playing. There is the combat training. I actually haven't unlocked this yet though. I need to clear chapter 3, which I have not done. There's the character trial, which allows for you to actually test the characters out before you pull them, and goddamn, every time I see Yoruichi, I'm like, babe, oh my god. There are the pieces of the past. I've actually completed the first 2 parts. This is essentially like a puzzle where you're just gonna have to like move the various different pieces and make the picture make sense. And then there are multiple redemption codes that were given out. Not really much was given though. There is a battle pass. It's like every other battle pass. Worth it if you're gonna be playing long term because it gives you free pulls. It gives you lots of resources to upgrade your characters with. There are your typical daily, weekly missions that you can complete. And honestly, that's pretty much the game. That is Bleach So Resonant in a nutshell. Now let's go ahead here and break down my rating. Content, 5 out of 10. Honestly, based off of what I had unlocked at the time of recording, there was a solid amount of content to do. Difficulty, 4 out of 10. I'm sure content somewhere down the line gets more difficult, but at present, yeah, I'd say it's a little easier than average. Even the hard mode dealt negligible damage to me. Free-to-play friendliness, though, was 7 out of 10. This was surprisingly free-to-play friendly. The gacha guarantee at 80 pulls for a limited character, no 50-50 at all. The reason I actually didn't give this an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, though, is due to the low pull income. Gameplay, 7 out of 10. Character fluidity, the movement, the animations, the abilities, and the combat all felt incredibly polished, which kind of caught me a little bit by surprise. Graphics, 6 out of 10. Character models look fantastic. The world itself looks decent enough. Sound, 7 out of 10. Hearing Ichigo's theme, y'all know the theme I'm talking about. The one where the chick comes in and goes, whoa, oh, yo, yeah. If you want to see some action, gotta be the center of attraction. That one, yeah. When he unlocked his Soul Reaper powers and that music was playing, man, then hearing random songs from the anime as well, what a nostalgia trip. Story, 6 out of 10. I think the story is actually pretty good. It's segmented, meaning that it's not as free-flowing as the anime was, with parts missing that make it feel a little bit disjointed at times, but overall, I think it was pretty solid. Voice acting, 7 out of 10. The original Japanese dub is phenomenal. My only issue with the dub was that it was washed out a little bit and sounded very condensed, very echoey and muffled, as if they were talking like this. I guess it's to avoid copyright. World, 6 out of 10. You kept visiting areas from the anime, which was awesome, but so I don't know, kind of felt barren. There were tons of NPCs, and while there were, some of them that actually conversed with one another, it still didn't really have like much of a purpose, I think. Fun, 7 out of 10. I genuinely had fun playing this. I would have kept streaming this if I didn't have work to do. I truly found the majority of this game to be very, very engaging and enjoyable. Overall, I would give this 64 big titty anime waifus out of 100 small titty waifus, or 6.4 out of 10. Significantly higher than I thought it would have been. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.